guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to Joyful Living. Today is a much requested YouTube creator Q&A. And no, it is not just for you if you are a YouTube creator. It is also for you if you watch YouTube, because I'm gonna answer some questions that I've been getting a lot. I asked you guys for questions over on Instagram. By the way, if you're not following me there, please make sure you go and do that. That is normally where I will ask you guys for questions for Q&As. You had some great ones and I can't wait to dive right in. I have been on YouTube now for just over 2 years. I started in March of 2018. So it's been 2 years and a couple of months. I have learned so much, and when I first started, I knew nothing. No one is as surprised as I am that I have grown the way that I have. I am in no way, shape, or form an overnight success on YouTube. There are people that join YouTube and 6 months later, they have 100,000 subscribers. That is not me. I am kind of a slow and steady wins the race kind of girl. I'm constantly educating myself. I'm constantly trying to do a better job with my channel to make sure that I am bringing you guys content that you want to watch. And you know, you can't compare yourself to anybody else, because I remember back when I had 30 subscribers, I would look at people with, 10,000 subscribers and think I'm never going to be there. And now that I have, whatever it is, 3,700 subscribers on this channel and over 13,000 subscribers on my other channel, I look at people with 20,000 or 50,000 or 100,000 and think I'm never going to get there. So no matter where you are in this YouTube game, it's really easy to always be looking ahead and feeling like, ooh, if I could just get to where that person is. So as I start out, I want to say if you are brand new to YouTube or if you're frustrated with your growth on YouTube, I have been where you are. I have been frustrated. I have compared myself to others. I have gotten down in the dumps because my progress didn't look like somebody else's. But if you love YouTube and you love creating and you keep plugging away at it, I have confidence in you and in YouTube itself that that work will be honored. It just may take a lot longer than you think it's going to. So the first question that I'm going to answer is one that came to me from a couple of my patrons had messaged me privately and asked me, and if you're not following me on Patreon, I'll put a link right here where you can go look up what that is all about. You do pay a monthly fee and you get access to special videos and special live streams and things like that. And because that's kind of my inner circle, they specifically wanted to know what they can do to best support my channel as a viewer. And when I put it out on Instagram for questions, a couple of you asked the same thing. I had a question from Don Torres: does watching the entire ad instead of skipping increase your revenue? People asking about, if they don't watch the video to the end, like how can you support me? So first of all, I'm so honored that that would even be a question that you would ask. Like that says so much about you guys and how I just am very, very lucky to have amazing subscribers. So in a nutshell, if you want to sit down and watch one of my videos and your goal, aside from hopefully being entertained, is that you want to support me in the best way possible, here's the things that you can do. Number one, yes, please watch the entire ad all the way until the end. I very rarely do non-skippable ads anymore, just because honestly, I find them annoying when I'm watching YouTube. But if you can watch the whole ad, that does up my revenue from AdSense. Secondly, yes, if you can watch the video all the way through, that really does help me. YouTube really, I call her Lady YouTube. Lady YouTube really looks at how long people watch my videos. And if that percentage is higher, then that helps YouTube recommend my video to other people, which then increases watch time, which then, everything else about the picture gets a whole lot rosier. Another thing you can always make sure you do is give the video a thumbs up, because again, that tells YouTube that people like my videos and they want to continue to watch them. And then the final thing is when you comment. And again, any kind of comment or liking on a video, it just tells the algorithm that this is a popular video, that people enjoy it, and it all kind of works together to make the algorithm go, oh, this girl may have something going and we may want to watch her channel. So all of those things are super, super helpful. Now, if you have to pause a video and you don't get to watch it all the way through, I understand that. That happens to me all the time. So just know that any and everything you guys can do to support the channel is appreciated, but watch the videos as it works for you and your schedule. And even I skip ads sometimes. I totally understand that. Okay, now this next question is from Amy Elizabeth 209, and a lot of you asked something that kind of sounded a lot like this. What is your advice for someone who wants to become a content creator? And my number one piece of advice is do your homework. I researched how to become a YouTube creator for a solid 6 months, if not slightly longer, before I ever published my first video. Make sure you get an education. There is so much readily available to YouTube creators. Everything from how to do a thumbnail, to how to film your very first video, to how to work with the algorithm. We are in an age where everything is at your fingertips, and I realize there's a lot of information out there. So what I've done is down in the description box, I am putting a list of my 5 favorite kind of creators that are for creators. People that I feel like are clear and concise in their information. Go to those YouTube channels, search what you don't know. I am 100% self-taught. When I started YouTube, I didn't even know how to use iMovie. I knew how to do nothing. I didn't know how to film. I didn't know how to edit. I didn't know how to research topics. I didn't know how to do thumbnails. I didn't know how to do tags, just on and on and on. All of these things that I did not know. Another recommendation that I would make if you're considering it is before you post that very first video, I would purchase and download TubeBuddy. Now I do have an affiliate link for TubeBuddy. I will put that down in the description box. But especially when I was first starting as someone who knew nothing, having this little best practices box that opens up when you have TubeBuddy that would remind me of all of the things that I'm supposed to do and made it really easy for me to learn how to do things I didn't know how to do. It's like having training wheels when you're first starting to ride a bike. It gives you that little bit of security, and I just absolutely adore TubeBuddy. There is a free version, but I actually recommend one step up from the free version. They do have a discount code. It's usually Rising Star, and that is if you have 1,000 subscribers or less. So this is for you if you're very first starting out. If that code doesn't work, reach out to them. They always have a code for new creators, and it's just a very supportive environment, and it makes you feel like you have a friend that's kind of going along with you. It is very scary in the beginning, so get yourself educated on how to do it, and then just start filming videos. At some point, you have to be done with the self-education, and it's time to actually film videos. And the only way to get better at YouTube is to do YouTube. You're not going to get better if all you do is continue to research, how do I do it? What do I do? And I normally tell clients that I'm working with to have at least 5 videos in the can, as we call it. In the can means they're filmed, they're edited, they're ready to go before you ever publish your first one. Because doing those first 5 videos, you will learn so much. You will learn about yourself. You will learn about your presentation style. And I have clients reach out to me all the time that are just baby YouTubers and they're just starting. And I always tell them the same thing. You need to go and create some videos first. Go out there, see what information is available. And once you've got 5 or 10 videos under your belt, come on back and we'll work together to help you find the best way that you can grow. So absolutely get an education and then just start filming videos. All right, now I'm going to move into some analytics questions, which I thought were really good. This is from A Wolf in NYC, and A Wolf says, I love seeing the analytics you post. How do you use those to influence channel changes? And I love this question because I used to look at all of my analytics all the time, and it takes a lot of time to look at analytics. And then I had kind of this light bulb moment, and this is what I always share with people that I'm working with. To me, there are only 2 numbers that matter: impressions and click-through rate. So when you look at your analytics, your impressions are how many people YouTube has showed your video to, and your click-through rate is how many of those people clicked on the video. So obviously impressions is important because if no one is having access to your videos, then no one can see your videos. That seems obvious, right? And then click-through rate is important because that tells you how your thumbnail and your topic is doing with the audience in general. If you are doing a topic that people are looking for, YouTube will show your video to people. Now, whether or not they click on that video really depends on your thumbnail. So that's why when I say thumbnails are important, especially in the beginning, and I think moving forward as well, thumbnails are super, super, super important. So make sure that your thumbnails are clear and concise. Make sure people can read them easily on their phone. They do not have to look like you have a degree in graphic design. Use something like Canva. They have a lot of great templates that you can use, but thumbnails are important. So for example, if you see a video that has, impressions of like 2,000 people that YouTube has showed your video to, but your click-through rate is only 2 or 3%, that means only 2 or 3% of those people are actually clicking on that thumbnail. So that's a video that how I would change what I did, I would probably redo the thumbnail because that means YouTube is saying, this is a topic that people want, but my thumbnail is not something that's engaging them and making them want to click on the thumbnail. Another tip on thumbnails, you don't have to have the title of your video in your thumbnail because when they view it, they're gonna see the thumbnail and the title right below. So it could just be, be careful you don't do clickbait because clickbait is when you promise something in the thumbnail that isn't in your video, and that's not good for long-term success, but it doesn't necessarily have to be just the title repeated. But just check out some thumbnails from creators that you love. Another great trick is to search for the video topic you're planning on filming on and check out the thumbnails of the really successful videos in that category. See what you think. Don't ever copy anybody, but see what you think about kind of making that thumbnail really stand out because that's the thing. You gotta stand out from everybody else and that can be really tricky to do. So this next question is from the Disney Parks Magic. I love this question. What revenue streams do you have related to the channel and what percentage is each? So, and I'm going to answer another question about revenue and YouTube in a minute. So there are 4 basic ways that I make money on YouTube. Number 1 is Google AdSense, and that is the money that I get from ads. So when you watch an ad, I get a commission on that ad. Number 2 is my merchandise and affiliate links. This is a very, very tiny sliver. I think it's less than 5% at this point. I don't really do affiliate links and sponsorships and all that anymore. It's just, it doesn't fit my style. I'm much happier since I'm not really entertaining that. There's a few companies that I'll work with, but not very many. And I sell very limited merch. But if you ever want to support the channel, you can go down and buy my merch. little plug there, little ad for my own merchandise. There is a link in the description box for that. The lion's share of my income comes from my patrons. Now, Patreon, if you've never heard of it before, it is a site where people can go and support their favorite writers, artists, video creators, musicians. And I have an amazing following on Patreon. So those, I think we're up to like 124 people, provide over 40% of my monthly income. And I say this to them all the time, and I'll say it to you guys. If it were not for my patrons, I would have to go get another job. I literally could not afford to continue to be a YouTube creator if it were not for my patrons. So they know how appreciative I am. What they get over there is exclusive live streams, exclusive videos. I do a podcast over there. I really do try to make it something that has value to them, but that's just about 40% of my income. And then the other big chunk, let's see, where was I? 40% plus 30% is 70% plus 5%, 25% right now. And I think it's actually, it might be a little bit more as the pie is getting a little bit bigger, is now coming from coaching and consulting. Now, I haven't really launched my coaching and consulting business. You are welcome to send me an email at jenlefforge@gmail.com. I just finished, I think, my 12th client, and that is really building for me. I'm loving the process. I'm working with a lot of businesses, but I'm also working with a lot of very small creators, and it brings me a lot of joy. Coaching is something I did a lot in my old job. So doing it now as part of my YouTube world is just really exciting for me. And that is something that I hope to continue to grow over the next 12 months or so. So yeah, this was from Jenny Hatcher, and she said, would this be a career you would say can comfortably support a family? So there are YouTube creators that comfortably support a family. They are few and far between. If you are willing to really put in the work to wait maybe up to 5 years, and if it's something you really, really love, then sure, I think that's something that could be possible. I do this part-time, and I will just tell you flat out that I do not make enough that I could support our family. I make a very good part-time salary, about what I would be making if I went back into retail part-time or did something like that. So for me, it works. I do hope to grow it with the coaching and consulting business to something where I really could, support our family if that needed to happen. That is kind of my goal. But I think if you don't have another either a product that you're selling or a service that you're selling, or maybe it's an e-course or maybe it's coaching, to just be a YouTube creator and try to live just off of AdSense revenue, I think would be incredibly challenging. So my advice would be, stay with your day job, stay with whatever your career is, make it a side hustle. It does take a lot of time, and I'm going to answer that question next. Especially in the beginning. I'm now to where I can do it 20 to 30 hours a week. I would say in the beginning, it was more like 50 to 60 hours a week because of the learning curve, right? You have a lot to learn about YouTube in order to be a successful YouTube creator. So things that used to take me 5 hours now maybe take me, 30 minutes. So there is all of that to consider. But if you really love it and you're really passionate about it, give it a go, because you may be far more successful than I am. I have a dear friend, Jessica. She is Okla Roots is her channel. She always tells me that she was inspired to start her YouTube channel because of me. And that girl's taken off. I mean, she has like 5 times the amount of subscribers that I have, and I know she's making more money than I am. And that thrills me. Like, I'd love to watch people that were inspired by me go and launch their own channels and be successful. So give it a go, but I would not quit your day job and try to make a living doing this, because it takes years for most of us, it takes years to develop a following and to develop these multiple income streams so that you can really have a good income coming in from YouTube. So this next question is from Tyranny Howell, and I love this question. How many hours per week would you say you put into your YouTube channel? And I kind of already answered that. The reality is I could put every hour per week into my YouTube channel. I always have a list of videos a mile long to film. I always have a list of tasks that I need to do. I always have a ton of planning I want to do. Now that I'm doing the consulting business, I'm constantly trying to educate myself on the latest and greatest, because I don't really consider myself an expert. I consider myself a curator. So for instance, when a business comes to me and says, we want to start a YouTube channel, they don't have time to spend 400 hours researching how to start a YouTube channel. So they're going to come to me, and I'm going to help them kind of curate down from that sea of information down to what's really pertinent to them and their business. I could spend a minimum of 50 or 60 hours a week. I now choose to spend between 20 and 30 hours a week. I am very, very diligent about being disciplined with my time. If you don't know my background, I had a 25-year career. YouTube is sort of my semi-retirement job. I have no desire to work full-time right now. I love that I work 20 to 30 hours a week. Sometimes it's closer to 40 hours a week, especially if I'm, really excited about a project. But the goal is to keep it 20 to 30. And I even mark those work hours down in my planner, because I'm at a point in my life where I want plenty of time to hang out with my family. I want to have plenty of time to exercise. I love the flexibility of my schedule. And if I ended up working 50 to 60 hours a week and feeling really stressed, it would kind of defeat the whole purpose of being my own boss. So yeah, 20 to 30 hours a week is a typical week for me. And again, doing that much work with the different income streams that I have allows me to make enough money that I can continue to do this, and I don't have to go and get another part-time job. Okay, so a lot of people asked about my equipment. What I will do is put down in the description box my Amazon storefront. If you click on that, I have a YouTube supply list, and that is everything that I use. Now, Amazon affiliate links now make me a teeny tiny bit of money. They just restructured everything, so please shop around. Amazon is not only not always the best price, sometimes it's not the best return policy, especially when it comes to buying camera equipment. So you can definitely go there and look at it, but don't feel any pressure to use those links to purchase the items. But the camera that I'm filming on right now is the Canon EOS M50 with the Rode microphone. And I can't remember the name of the microphone, but it will be down in the storefront. When I vlog in the parks, I use the Canon Mark G7X 2, not the 3. I did not like the 3. And no microphone typically when I'm in the parks, although I did just purchase a, is it called Blue Panda or Purple Panda? Purple Panda lapel mic that works with iPhone and will work with my regular camera. It won't work with the Mark G7X2 because it doesn't have an external mic port, but this microphone is amazing for just a little lapel mic. It's not wireless. I think it's all of $40. And really, if you're just starting your YouTube channel, it is very easy to just use your phone. I would recommend getting a little bit better microphone, but don't invest in a lot of equipment until you're sure it's something that you're really gonna like. The tripod that I use, hold please, I will get it. I actually have you guys sitting on my, my smaller tripod, which is also in the Amazon storefront, but this is the one that I absolutely adore. It is by Targus. I love it because it has this adjustable head on it, so you can move it to any different direction. It folds up really small. It can be really tall or really short, and really easy to adjust, lightweight. And Scott gave it to me as a gift, and I don't think it's very expensive. I want to say it's maybe $40. But again, head to the Amazon storefront and I'll have the links to absolutely everything. I also use a newer, I guess is the name of it, ring light. It is really good. Now that I've moved up here to my office where I have quite a bit more natural light, like I'm facing a really big window, I don't think I'm gonna use the ring light as much, but if you're in an area where you don't have a lot of natural light, then the ring light is definitely a way to go. So now I'm gonna move into talking about how I overcome like just when I, getting frustrated or not coming up with topic ideas. And this is from my friend Days with Dawn. Dawn has a fabulous channel if you want to check her out. And she asks, how do you overcome a creative wall? I have been working with creatives for a very, very long time. My past career was spent working with creatives. So I have learned a lot of tips and tricks about brainstorming. The thing I would say about a creative wall is you have to brainstorm when you are in a good frame of mind to brainstorm. You have to do it often, and it has to be separate from your regular work. Now, and I should say, this may not be true of you. This is true of me. Brainstorming for me, I need to be in comfy clothes, I need to light a candle, I need to have some music going, and then I just have to start writing down ideas. If I think, I wake up one morning and I'm like, oh, I have to film a video today, I have no idea what I'm gonna film about, and I end up feeling like I have nothing to talk to anybody about. Why do I even have a YouTube channel? This is ridiculous. I don't know why I do this. But if I set aside that time for brainstorming, especially if I'm in the mood to brainstorm, and that's the funny thing is I can kind of force it. I can kind of get myself to a place where I'm ready to brainstorm, but it kind of has to happen a little bit organically. But when that mood strikes, I make sure I have everything ready to go, and I will start writing down every single stupid idea that comes into my head. And what that gives me, Dawn, is a full kind of bucket to pull from for video ideas. Now, some of them are really dumb and some of them are really smart, and a lot of them never see the light of day, but you have to give yourself, I think, permission to dream and permission to create. And if you're not good at doing that, it may take a while. Like I know a lot of you who, you have little ones and it's hard to find that quiet space. Maybe that needs to be really early in the morning. Maybe for you, it's while you're on a walk. I can't tell you how many times I have, said, hey Siri, please record a video idea. Just so many different times when an idea will hit me and I need to find a place to get that down on paper. Because if you don't write it down, it's going to be gone. So a creative wall for me doesn't usually happen because when I sit down to film, I already have a bucket of ideas ready to go. Okay, so I'm not trying to do all of that at the same time. I would also say that if you're really not feeling it on a particular day, even if you have a topic ready and you have, time scheduled to film, don't force it. Allow yourself to create when you feel like creating. And I realize that maybe doesn't sound like the most disciplined tactic, but in my experience, if I try to force it when I'm really not feeling it, I don't end up with a product that I'm happy with. My energy isn't good. My words don't seem to flow correctly. So that is part of being an artist. And I do consider myself an artist. Some days you feel it and some days you don't. So I'm disciplined with my time. But at the same time, I allow tons of flexibility so that if maybe one day I don't feel like filming, but I do feel like brainstorming, I can do that. Or if maybe one day I'm feeling like I want to do my books. I don't know why I would feel like doing that, but maybe I want to do, my taxes, or I want to record my expenses, or whatever the case may be. If you're going to be a creator and this is the kind of thing you're going to do with your life, I think you have to give some space to do different things on the days when you feel like doing them. So that was another big question, moving on into doing my books, that came up a lot, was taxes. Yes, I pay taxes. I have an amazing accountant. So my answer to what do you do about taxes is get an amazing accountant. She has done, I think I'm her first YouTube creator she's worked with, but she has done so much research on my behalf. I have an LLC. So I do have to pay taxes, but because we file our taxes for the business, because I'm a single owner LLC, we pay them with our regular taxes. I don't have to pay taxes quarterly, but you do have to allow about 25 to 30% of your income to go to taxes. Now, having said that, obviously I can write off a lot. I can write off all of my equipment. I can write off some, not all, but some of my travel expenses. I can write off anything that I purchase for a giveaway. I can write off anything I purchase for gifts for my patrons. I write off a portion of my internet bill, a portion of my cell phone bill, even a portion of our property taxes, all of these different things. I would not know even where to begin if I didn't have a great accountant. So thank you, God, that there are great accountants in the world. Mine happens to be named Jennifer. We have become friends. She is amazing, and she really has supported my business from day one. So I really do trust her, and I recommend getting a great accountant. Whether or not you need to start an LLC is a completely personal matter. We chose to do it so that our assets were separate. So you have to be very careful about things like I have a separate checking account for the LLC. I have a separate credit card for the LLC. And yes, my Disney trips, a good portion of my Disney trips, and yes, even a portion of my DVC dues are tax deductible. So these are all things that accountants know how to do great, but you absolutely pay taxes, and Google AdSense is absolutely going to send you a W-2 at the end of the year. And I guess it's not a W-2, it's is it a W-9, an I-9? I don't know what it is, but YouTube sends me a thing that I send to my accountant. And then I have to self-report all of my consulting income, any income I receive from, affiliate links and all of that. If it's under a certain amount, those companies are not required to send me an actual tax form. So I have to self-report. So I keep very careful, detailed notes of all of my income, because the last thing I want to do is get in trouble with the IRS. And I will tell you that YouTube creators are a bunch that likes to skirt the rules a lot. And so we do get kind of targeted for audits. So you want to make sure that you are following all of the rules. Always follow the tax rules for your country and your state, and make sure you're doing that correctly. All right, so this came from Jenny. She is JB Nerdy, and she also has a YouTube channel. This is a big question, okay? The top 3 things to make sure you're doing when you create videos as a newer channel. Okay, so the first thing is, if you have TubeBuddy that I mentioned before, you're gonna get that best practices thing is gonna pop up. So that is really gonna help make sure you're doing the top things. 3 most important things. Well, obviously the first thing is make sure your content is something that people are looking for, and you need to do your research on that. Number 2, make sure your content is quality. Can they see you? Can they hear you? And are you doing quality editing? How's the pace of the video? Is the information concise and precise, but does it show your personality? So good quality videos, and a lot of that only comes with practice. And then the number 3 thing is make sure you are using the appropriate tags. I cannot overemphasize this. You need to remember that YouTube is a search engine. So YouTube needs to know what your video is about so they know who to suggest it to. And when people are searching for certain things, they need to be able to find your video. And if you are not appropriately tagging your video, they're not going to find you. The people aren't going to find you. YouTube isn't going to know what your video is about. So make sure that your tags are specific and clear and right for your video. Again, TubeBuddy has a great tool for that will save you a ton of time. And then you only asked for 3 things, but my 4th thing would be make sure you have quality thumbnails. If those thumbnails are not attractive to viewers, people will not click on the video, will not watch the video, and then your channel will not grow. Okay, so this next one is from another friend that has a YouTube channel. It is from Sandra, whose channel is Empty Nest Living. And this question made me laugh because Sandra and I have actually talked about this. How can you grow your channel without self-promoting? I lack confidence to do it. Well, you just have to get the confidence. Look at it this way. If you opened a bakery and you made really good croissants and you believed in your croissants, they were good, they were flaky, they were buttery, you were making them because you knew other people would like them, but you were too embarrassed to tell anyone that you sold croissants. How many croissants do you think you're going to sell if you stay in your bakery and you don't have a sign and you don't advertise and you don't go out on social media? You are presenting a product to the world. You're presenting your YouTube videos. I'm assuming if you didn't think they were good, you wouldn't put them out there. If you didn't think it's something that has value to other people, you wouldn't put them out there. So Sandra, there is no way to do this without self-promoting. And I don't know why we look at self-promotion as this big negative thing. I have a product that I produce and I bring to the world. I will not apologize for telling other people about it. I will not apologize for getting paid for it. And I don't feel that we need to feel shy about shouting it from the rooftops, especially when you're first starting out. Every Facebook friend, every connection on Twitter and Instagram and whatever email list you have access to, everywhere and everybody from your aunt to your cousin to your best friends, there should be nobody that you have access to that doesn't know that you have a YouTube channel. And if you don't feel that what you're producing is worthy of promotion, then why are you producing it? So I think that's kind of needs to be before anything else. Make sure that whatever you're putting out into the world, do you believe in your own product? Because if I were making croissants and I thought they tasted like crud and then I'm selling them to other people, well, that doesn't really work out, does it? But if I'm making croissants that I know are the bomb diggity, I'm shouting it from the rooftops because I want other people to have access to these amazing croissants. So you're not self-promoting, you're promoting this product that you create that you believe has value. So you have to believe in your own press and then you have to go and tell the world about it. So sorry, but there really is no other way around that. I never apologize for telling the world that I'm a video creator and that I make videos that I'm very proud of and I think they will enjoy. So that's the answer to that question. Okay, this video has gone on long enough. I'm so glad that you were here. Again, I am so grateful for the questions that everybody sent in. Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Comment below. I'll try to do these more regularly because I know you guys really do enjoy them. I loved answering these questions with you today. Clearly, I am very, very passionate about what I do and I love sharing how to do it better with other people. So I'll see you next time. Whatever you're doing, I hope you're finding joy and yeah, have a great day. Bye-bye.